Right now, I'm torquing down these injectors to 35 foot-pounds, which is the proper torque spec. And you want to be careful and do it the right way because, remember, we've got these copper washers that these injectors are sitting on. So the right torque spec is going to allow these to crush and seal properly.
Once he's done with that, we can get in there and reinstall this return fuel rail right there, so that's ready to go. Then we can put on this lower valve cover right here. Now what we did was we put a little adhesive in here, nothing too major, just get that ready to go. That way, when we put this gasket on here, it's actually going to stick, right? Because we're going to be turning this thing upside down and shoving it in there, and knowing one of us, we're going to bang it on something. So you don't want this dropping out. You want it to stay in place.
Now, when you're swapping out these injectors, you're doing this job, it requires a little bit more than just the injector. So we called up the guys at Merchant Automotive, and we asked them to give us what we call the Deluxe Package. And you can see we've got all kinds of seals and gaskets, some cool specialty tools, and we're also going to replace the fuel lines. Now, the other ones, there was a lot of contamination, a lot of rust and stuff that was sitting through those lines, so why put old, dirty lines in there which can contaminate the new injectors? We'll put brand new ones in.
It's nice with the guys from Merchant Automotive because you can say, look, I want to do this particular task on this particular truck, and these guys are experts. They know what they're talking about, and they'll go, okay, you need this, that, and that. And you're like, hey, send it to me. It's going to make the job a lot easier. We've got the brand new fuel lines going in, and here's why. Let's take a look at the injector, and here's where the old fuel line butts up to it, right? So you take a look at this, and when you're disconnecting everything, now you've got this big opening between the fuel line and the housing right there. Boom, you pull that out, and look at all the junk that falls down in there. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal? I'm replacing the injector anyway, right? So that's going out. Well, here's the deal. If you put the new injector in there and then you use this old line, there's no telling how much junk is still up in here, and then that's going right into your new injector, and that's not good. In fact, here's the old one. We actually cut it apart. I always love cutting things up, you know? So here's what's going on the inside. You've got this little lip and this opening. So all that junk is building up right there. So out with the old, we're changing out the injectors, the new fuel lines and all that. So here's the new one, nice and clean, right? Nothing in there, no junk. Now when we put this in, we're gonna put a little white lithium grease right on here. So that slides in nice and good. Now we still have the gap though, right? We'll take some silicone, we'll go around like that, and that's gonna keep all of that nonsense from getting down in there, and that's gonna keep our system nice and clean.
Now, keeping with the theme of going the extra mile, at this point, since you've got the fuel system all apart, it's a good time to go ahead and take apart the fuel filter head. Now, you can get a rebuild kit from Merchant Automotive, and they'll give you the seals and the O-rings to do so, as well as some very cool parts to replace some inferior parts. Now, like this right here, this bleed screw, you can see the plastic one that comes from the factory that's easily damaged. You can discard that and put a brand new billet one in place. Now, the same thing with the plug that goes in the bottom of the filter. This new billet one will replace this one that's damage prone, where the wires actually just fell out of. This is the water and fuel sensor, so you can get rid of that and have a nice good seal with the billet one. You've got nice tools to put the stuff in place. They're all custom, and you can get what I think is a really cool thing is this little spacer right here. As simple as it is, it can make your life a whole lot easier. What you're doing is you're moving the filter away from the engine just far enough where you can actually get a filter wrench around it and do service on your engine easily.
Now, keep in mind, the guys at Merchant Automotive are not only a retail establishment where you can get all of this stuff, but they're a full-on shop where they're doing everything from repairs to one-off custom builds and everything in between, right? So these guys eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, so you know they're going to hook you up with the right stuff.